Okay, so after 25 years, they've actually decided to give out Yubel's support. And the Yubel support isn't even that bad, it's good. Spirit of Yubel, for example, is a new Yubel retrain, matching Spirit of Neos. When an opponent declares an attack, you can special summon it, already leagues above Yubel original form, and if it's special summoned, you can take a spell trap that mentions it and add it to your hand or set it. Putting in motion a lot of what the new gameplay seems to be about. Can't be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage from battles involving it, just like the regular Yubel. And if the card is destroyed, not by card effect, not by battle, just destroyed in general, special summon one of your Yubel that is banished or in your hand, deck, or graveyard. Okay, so because it says one of your Yubel, this might be a little broken. I mean, you can get any one of the three. They all have Yubel in their names. Just extra text. Good card. Then you got Yubel das Ur. Then you got the fusion version. I'm not going to butcher the German. I don't speak it. It's cool, but I'm not going to speak it. One Yubel plus one or more affect monsters on the field. So, much like Starving Venom, this card is a super poly dream. Makes sense symbolically. It is Yubel after all. You can only use the first effect of it once per turn, and that is, if it's fusion summon, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each fusion material used for its summon. So, unbreakable board, plus one super poly, and a Yubel in hand, or, well, on field, which is also not that hard to do. Guess what you get? You get a potential 3,000 burn at the minimum, but thanks to the extra monster zone, there's a possible 3,500 burn. That's pretty good. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, also you take no damage from battles involving this card. Again, standard Yubel effect. And if it battles an opponent's monster, at the end of the damage step, inflict damage to them equal to that monster's attack. And if you do, banish it. No, beforehand, Yubel didn't do really anything after the monster was attacked. It would probably, I think, just wipe the field or destroy them after. Sort of like a Time Lord thing, but this, straight up cruel. Next, Geist Grinder Golem. You can reveal one Yubel in your hand, special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field. Then you can special summon the reveal monster to your field. That is great. That is great. Having Yubel is no longer a brick. As a matter of fact, it's beneficial. Once per turn during damage calculation, if this card battles a Yubel monster, your opponent gains 3,000 life points. Sounds like a detriment, but considering a spell card that we'll mention later, it might be there to make it more tame. Remember, Yubel does like torturing people from the anime, so this could be still a bit of that mentality, but in monster form. If you special summon Yubel while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card to your opponent's field. Now keep in mind, they're just using Yubel, so this includes the fusion card and Spirit of Yubel. It just needs to have the name. So all three of the original plus the two new ones, which is great. And finally, Samsara Regenerating Lotus, for the monsters at least. You can only use all of its effects once per turn, hard once per turn. You can tribute this card, special summon one Yubel monster from your deck. So, Yubel, Samsara, Layer of Darkness, it's a thing. It's a thing. I'm gonna take it to heart. During your opponent's turn, when a monster effect is activated while you control a Yubel monster quick effect, you contribute this card. That effect becomes destroy one Yubel monster on the field. So if you're playing with the older Yubel cards, now that it's a card effect that says destroy a Yubel monster, you destroy Yubel, summon out Layer 2 or Layer 3. And yeah, that's that. During the end phase, if you control Yubel, again, just general, and this card is in the graveyard, you can take this card and either add it to your hand or special summon it. So, first of all, Samsara Lotus is unbanned now, and it got retrained, meaning that you can have both in this deck, and it'll have an even greater cycle of regeneration and destruction. And plus it happens in the end phase, so still support your little Yubel effects. That is good. Now for the spell traps that were released so far. Nightmare Pain. Now, fun fact about this card, Nightmare Pain is called that, and it's also the attack she used in the anime. That's the name of her attack, and is reflecting that in the artwork. During your main phase, you can destroy one dark monster in your hand or face up on the field, and if you do, add a Yubel or a card that mentions it from your deck to your hand except for itself. So right off the back, it summons the new Grinder Golem, Samsara Lotus, and the new Yubel. Oh, wait, that's not all. By the way, it also just randomly destroys one dark monster in your hand or your face-up field. So, wow, a card effect that can just pop a Yubel. And it's a spell card that is also continuous. Yes, you can only use this effect once per turn. But that doesn't fucking matter. It's free Yubel season. While you control any Yubel monster, all opponents' monsters must attack them if able. Gee, I wonder what happens after that. Could it be instant KO? Especially if you combine this with, our favorite little funny friends, the hand traps. Preventing your opponent from setting up, and they just have, I know weak sauce monsters on the field, but if you also have the new Grinder Golem, you can potentially straight up go for game. But, there's that. And finally, your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving your Yubel monster instead. So, this is either a conditional effect, which means just in general, which is something that the Yubels already do. So, this does two things, I think. The first and most obvious things is it covers your ass. If your opponent activates Infinite Impermanence, this allows your Yubels to still do damage to them, while also proccing for the destruction. So Spirit of Yubel's effect that happens when it's destroyed still goes off, but this covers its ass so that it doesn't, you don't take damage from it. So if they attack into Yubel, effects negated, Yubel, would be destroyed like normal, but you would take 4,300 damage. But in this case, Yubel will be destroyed, but they'll take the damage. It covers you. The only other thing I could think of, and this is why I said Grinder Golem's effect might be a sort of way to downplay the brokenness, is because it could also make you deal double damage. Not too lucrative into the rulings of effects like this, but it's one of the two. Anyway, next card, Spell Chronicle got a glow up. Mature Chronicle. You can only use the second effect, of this card's name once per turn. Anyway, each time a Yubel monster or a monster that mentions Yubel is special summoned, place one Chronicle counter on this card. Due to how the new cards work, that's going to be pretty easy to get to about 5 it requires, up to 5. There is no limit, it looks like, for the counters, and you can activate one effect per counter. So if you remove one counter, special summon a Yubel monster from your graveyard. 2 counters, add one of your banished cards to the hand. 3 counters, banish one card from your deck. 4 counters, destroy one card on the field. This would include your Yubels, another way to proc them. 5, add a super polymerization from your deck to your hand. So, the strongest effect is obviously number 5, but keep in mind, this is an open deck. You can have 3 super polys all you want to. It's not going to hurt anything. Trust me, it's not. Especially with how easily you can get Yubel on the field now thanks to the new Grinder Golem. This does nothing, and the new Samsara because it summons straight from deck. You're golden with this new support. This new support is great. Lastly, Eternal Favorite. And the artwork is the ending to the Yubel arc, basically. Judai and Yubel fusing together. Anyway, once per turn you can activate one of these effects, so just one a turn, and you can only use each of the following effects of this card's name once per turn. So one effect once per turn, so don't get greedy, which you can't do anyway. Special summon one of your Yubel monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. Just freeness, and neither player can activate cards or effects when it is special summoned. So, no old man say no, because he's been said no to. If you control Yubel, discard one card and send this face-up card from your spell's trap zone to the graveyard. Fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from either field as material, including a Yubel monster. So it's basically Sundew. It's basically Predaplant Camilla's Sundew. This new support is great so far. I just want one thing from the new Yubel support. Just want to see one thing. I want to see Regenerating Rose. That's about it. New Grinder Golem is great. New Samsara is great. Maybe we'll see a Regenerating Rose. Retrains the Grave Squirmer. Anything is possible. This is just, what, 7 cards? Come on, they're probably going to give it more than that. It's Yubel. It's a fan favorite card. There's all kinds of, there's oodles of references they can give to this thing. But that's it. I just wanted to hop on the gravy train while everybody else is. So, there you go. See ya.